This video is sponsored by RPG in the Jungle. It's so freaking cool. More on that later.
Wait, Kobold, is that you?
Yeah, that's me. I'm hanging out. Anyways, Dragon Delves is actually really good. I DM'd the first two adventures on release immediately. It was a 12-hour game that included prep time and searching for players. I just mass pinged everyone on Discord. I made it extra fun by timing it like a speedrun. It took us 62 hours total to beat the entire thing. I DM'd almost every day. Part of the speedrun, I also prepped on the spot while the players leveled or made their characters. It was easy. The players spent more time creating their characters together than it took for me to prepare the game. This video was originally going to go over absolutely everything that happens, the adventure themselves and how they function, and the strategies and tech that were used in the game from the player's perspective. Like, for example, rope trick was brought up, mount skirmishing. They default killed a dragon with a bag of devouring. At the final boss, they double divine intervention hollowed the dragon and microwaved it to death. The massive battle they had against the black dragon and almost lost because that dungeon was brutal for them. I almost killed a whole level 9 party with just 2 CR6 mages. So on and so forth. Everything is recorded. This is a treasure trove for DM optimization if I put everything together. Random strangers mostly every session, and everything went super well. It's an almost perfect campaign, the way I ran it. I am absolutely thrilled with how it turned out. But sadly, my Copper for a Song video didn't do very well. People aren't interested in an ultimate DM guide with practical player strategies baked into the video, and how to approach them with positivity. So I'm gonna make an advanced guide instead to encourage you to run games more often. Most of you watching know how to play the game. You're ready to DM, especially after watching this. Welcome to Pack Tactics, where we go into dungeons and slay dragons. Out of all the official adventures 5e has, this one is the most Dungeons and Dragons. Majority of them are exactly that. You go into a dungeon and find a dragon. And you probably fight the dragon. That's fun. You can't make it more Dungeons and Dragons than that. Every adventure revolves around a different colored dragon. Through and through, this is an adventure book. It sadly doesn't come with lore of the dragons or their stereotypical personalities, but the adventures perfectly captures what the game is. You are getting Dungeons and Dragons. We haven't gotten a dragon adventure for a very long time. Not even from third-party publishers. So I just devoured this book.
Kobold's just a scaly.
That too, but I haven't seen a dragon adventure from anybody for years. Give me something professional, come on. Anyways, we're wasting time. Let's skip back to the book. The only adventure that is bad is the first level adventure, which is the green dragon. I don't recommend running that one. Instead, you should just make something brand new. All the other adventures are good. There's 2 I think are perfect, which is the black and gold dragon adventures. I absolutely recommend them, especially the gold one. The gold one is themed around Candyland, and there's a lot of funny stuff you can do. And the backstory for it is really cool. I love it. Maybe I'll make that video too. But to talk about it quickly, it's a level 3 adventure, and if you're DMing it with a party, I recommend just making them level 2. That's what I did. The black dragon, which we're gonna focus heavily on today, just had a really good dungeon with time pressure that challenged the player's resources. When I talk about player optimization, I always think of dungeons like this. It perfectly captures what this channel optimizes around. Resources being challenged. The other adventure I really enjoyed was the Bronze Dragon adventure, which had the most interesting setup and plots, but it wasn't executed very well, so I DM'd it pretty badly. Talking about the adventure is actually more interesting than playing through the adventure. If you have a lot of downtime to brew, you can turn that adventure into something really cool. If I was DMing professionally with a homebrew world, I would sneak this in somewhere, and of course make it part of the main plot to really thicken the immersion. Now enough about the general blabber. You might be wondering, since I have 62 hours of raw footage, why don't I post it as VODs or something? I don't think people will watch it. We're not entertainers like Critical Role or anything. We're Dungeons and Dragons gamers. If there's a huge demand for it, I'll post everything pretty raw, but I really don't think anybody's gonna watch it. Now let's actually start the video and talk about optimal prep. This is actually the best part of the entire book. Wizards have never done this before. They have a preparation section for every adventure. adventure. If you follow the steps, you're ready to run it immediately. And if you do, that's like a 4 to 8 hour session right there. If you're fairly versed with the game, this takes like an hour to prep. It takes more time for the players to create their level 10 characters than it is for you to prep this adventure. And same applies to most of the other adventures here too. We're gonna prep the Black Dragon adventure together now. That way you understand how the steps work, and how to approach all the other adventures in this book. There are spoilers here, but there's no harm in players knowing this, in my opinion. It's not plot heavy with any twists. It's spelled out immediately, and most of it is a dungeon crawl. I had 6 players. I made them level 9. If you have 4 players, then just go with level 10. Step 1 says read the adventure background and the village of Respite. Optionally, read about the elemental plane of air in the DMG. I think this adventure does a pretty good job at explaining what's going on with the elemental plane of air, so you don't have to do that. The adventure background says, the Cobblehook Corsairs have harassed ships traveling along the Umbrati coast for years. Until recently, however, the pirates assailed only cargo ships and engaged in minimal bloodshed. Unbeknownst to the locals, a black dragon called Sablewing has seized command of the Corsairs. Sablewing killed the pirates' leader, as well as any other crew who opposed the dragon's violent ambitions. The dragon has instructed the remaining Corsairs to loot nearby coastal settlements, starting with the village of Respite. When this adventure begins, Respite is in chaos following the pirate raid. Worse, the pirates stole 2 magic gems that for centuries kept terrible elemental storms from leveling Respite. The players must venture into the pirate hideout, deal with the dragon, receive the 2 gems, and save the village from the storm. Here's the map of Respite. It's really good. What they got wrong is the statue in the middle there is supposed to have blue eyes. But anyways, the village is a home to about 50 people, primarily humans, elves, and orcs. The veil between the material plane and the elemental plane of air is thin near Respite. As a result, many born there have physical characteristics closely associated with the plane of air. Think like air genasi. This is a fishing village that's been pretty peaceful until this raid happened. Which is weird when Cobblehook Cove, the cove that's named after the pirates, is 6 miles away from the village. You would think the pirates would go to the tavern all the time to cause chaos, but whatever. The mayor is an orc woman named Gale Wittenby. She's the quest giver and tells the party what the big problem is. Due to the thin veil between planes of existence near Respite, vicious storms originating on the plane of air often ravage the nearby coast. Long ago, to protect the village, a friendly djinn crafted a device called the Storm's Eye Weather Vane and placed it in the village square. The djinn channeled their magic into 2 elemental sapphires, which were slotted in the weather vane. This device shielded Respite from elemental storms for generations. But once the pirates stole the gems, the weather vane became defunct, leaving the village vulnerable to the violent weather. The adventure says a fearsome storm is due to hit later this evening. There's time pressure. If the party takes a long rest, they lose. This is a great challenge. Get the 2 sapphires and you win. I told the party they can only have 2 short rests. That's it. So there's like 7 encounters in this whole module. At absolute minimum, there's like 5. The players I DM'd for went through 5, and they struggled. Step 2 says familiarize yourself with key NPCs in the table below. Players will interact with them. In reality, the ones that I circled are the actual important ones. Rest are background NPCs you barely interact with, like Brizo the Bagpiper. All the players do there is just save him from the fire at the tavern.
You replaced him with me.
I did. You're fun to interact with. That's why I put you there. We're both bagpipers, by the way. I'm playing a rock gig tomorrow. I'm opening for Ingenting. Well, what I mean is, when I'm recording this, I'm playing the next day. You guys probably won't see this video for a while because editing.
Kobold, that's too Norwegian. Nobody knows who they are.
Oh, beklager. So these 4 are the most important. I use sticky notes to keep track of them by name and basic information. I can't DM without sticky notes. I use them like crazy. That's just a personal thing. Anyways, we already talked about Gale. Vatri is the owner of the Morkroth Tavern that's in the village. She wants you to save the people who are inside. She also wants you to go to the dungeon to find her grandson named Perry. Perry joined the pirates a few months ago in pursuit of excitement and adventure. He's like romanticized about being a pirate, but when you find him, he's basically a hostage. There's not really much going on. He will basically tell you why pirates now take orders from a dragon and what happened to the previous captain. It's really what you expect. As for the dragon, Captain Sablewing,
Kobold, there's no way this is a reference to him. This is too Norwegian.
I don't know, it might be. It would be really funny if it was. What's also funny is the rock gig I'm playing at is close to where they do their live action show for Captain Sabretooth. It's like a 20-minute drive.
What the heck? Did you write this adventure?
No. Maybe somebody at Wizards is Scandinavian. Anyways, this dungeon is so cool. There's like a dragon in the corner and these acid pools. The dragon doesn't care about his pirates, really. They are tools in his pursuit of destruction and demising a great horde. He loves to gloat how easy it was to seize control of the crew. Sablewing is exactly what you expect. He's a black dragon. He delights in causing pain and suffering.
Kobold, he's just like me.
Yeah, he's a very relatable character. He's a powerful dragon with legendary actions and all that bang. By the time players got here, they barely had any resources. So this was a really hard fight for them. In case I don't make the ultimate guide, know this about running dragons in combat. If you land the dragon for too long, it will die fast, especially if you don't have legendary actions. Dragons are the best skirmishers in the game. If you want them to challenge the party, make sure they're always flying and using legendary actions to move in and out of cover, and just stay in the air. Keep in mind, these big dragons have 10-foot melee reach, so you don't need to land a dragon ever. They're not going to trigger any opportunity attacks either when they're flying around, unless someone is using a polearm. Now, if you're DMing for a party that went full-on melee, which is really dumb for a dragon game, then you should land a dragon. I don't think you should default kill your players, as funny as that sounds. You want them to have fun, and if they can't do anything, then that's not fun. But if you do want to meme on these melee marshals a little bit with the dragon, then land the dragon in the acid and make them come to you. A creature who enters the acid for the first time on a turn or starts its turn there takes 2d10 acid damage automatically. The dragon here has 4 legendary actions and resistance. Always remember to use your legendary actions, especially the move one. I mostly used it just for getting in and out of cover. I don't really care about the one attack. That's whatever. With legendary optimization, you can move out of cover and then use Frightful Presence later as a legendary action. That's now a fear spell, by the way. That's devastating. This dragon has really good spells. He has At Will Fear with a DC 17 save, which is no joke. He shuts you down. This is the hardest fight in the book, unless you microwave him or a rope trick or something. This party couldn't do that because they didn't have the resources or didn't have rope trick. Luckily for the players though, his breath weapon is a line. It's not a cone. Positioning isn't a problem though because he has a fly speed of 80 feet. And also he could just move into one of the tunnels, which is what I did. That way everybody is forced to move in a straight line. This lair has an 80-foot ceiling. Attached to the ceiling are 3 dark mantles. They have a feature that lets them emanate 15-foot magical darkness. Because they're 80 feet up and only have 30-foot fly, it will take them a while to get to the party to use their darkness. They have to dash and all that. The dragon has 60-foot blind sight, so he gets advantage while the party has disadvantage. That's all the strategy stuff. I wish in the preparation there was a step 4 that says understand the dragon fight and the ceiling of the room. But now you know how it works because I told you. Obviously you want this dragon fight to be epic. And in order to do that, you need to understand the fight. Step 3 is finding stat blocks. I just bought the module on a VTT and they prepped all of that for me. Maps and monsters and all that. So if you want to take a shortcut, do that on Foundry or Roll20 or whatever. And there we go. You're ready to run this game right now, tonight. I just prepped everything for you in less than 15 minutes. From here, you just follow the story beats in the campaign and describe the rooms. It's really easy. I absolutely recommend it, especially now. This is an easy 8-hour game, and you're giving the players the title of the game, Dungeons and Dragons. And this is with challenged resources too. This is what the game is about. By the way, I'm DMing in a castle in Peru, and I'm currently looking for players. I'll give you jungles and dragons.
And bagpipes and gators.
Yes, everything. I'll even bring my bagpipes. This experience is a true adventure. Not only do you get to explore the Amazon rainforest in real life, but I'll also DM for you professionally every day for 5 days straight. You'll get the ultimate pack tactics experience. And as you can see here, I'm kind of a psycho when I DM. I can DM for hours if you want. The campaign I have in mind takes place in Chult, of course, for the ultimate immersion. We gotta, of course, have a jungle campaign in the jungle.
Kobold, the dragon on top of the castle breathes fire!
This castle is super high quality. It's nicer and bigger than my house. I'm not joking. And the table itself is like space age technology. I've never seen anything like it before. This is top stuff.
But that's not all!
There's tons of other activities like exploring, painting minis, swimming. We're pretty close to a city, and maybe we get to see some caimans and other magical creatures.
But Kobold!
So yeah, special campaign in Peru. It's in a castle. I'm looking for 6 players. We'll be playing in fall or winter of 2026. Send an email to packtactics@outlook.com if you're interested or want more information. Anyways, back to the video. Let me share you a secret. The ultimate secret to DMing is it's actually really easy, especially with a dungeon. You just describe the room and let the players interact with it. Each room is a scene. Each scene, it's not really a room, but if you imagine them as dungeon rooms, they're a lot more bearable. Like a tavern is a dungeon room. The village square here with the statue is a dungeon room. The point is, it's not really complicated. You're just describing the place, describing the people. Embrace the unexpected chaos. Embrace interactions. Try to say yes as much as possible. If you can be as mechanically and interactively liberal as Baldur's Gate 3, you're gonna be the best DM in the world. Better than Matt Mercer. That is the secret. System mastery doesn't matter. If you're fun to play with, you win. Saying yes is fun. Now, of course, you can say no sometimes, but if you say no, you have to explain why. If you're not good with D&D rules, don't worry about it. Maybe the players remember the rules. Like, for example, I can never remember how grapple works. I'm embarrassed about it every single time. But still, I ask the people who I'm playing with how it works. And if they don't know, then I just look it up. It takes 2 seconds to look up grapple. The Player's Handbook glossary is amazing. It's the best part of the entire book. I'm surprised people aren't praising it enough. It's made my job 1,000,000 times easier. Control F, grapple. Press link. Read. One other thing, backseat DMing. I don't mind if players do this to me. If I make a mistake, I want to know about the mistake, you know? This is a team game after all, and the DM is part of the team. I'm trying to give the players what Dungeons & Dragons is. They came to the table to play Dungeons & Dragons. Now, I'm personally fine with people microwaving and default killing my encounters. It actually gives players a lot of glee, and make the players happy is like the goal. And also, I'll have another shot with the next encounter, you know? Or the next dragon in the next adventure. But there are some things I'm just not okay with. I do have some nerfs and bans. Here it is. I try not to brew that much because, again, the players came to play Dungeons & Dragons. So I want to be as close to Dungeons & Dragons as possible. But I don't want to deal with 24 hours ritual casting with Phantom Steed or slavery with planar binding to create an army. It's probably a good idea to nerf Rope Trick, but I wanted to show it off in the ultimate video because they're common in optimization for dragon fights. And surprise, surprise, it actually did come up. It didn't really go the way the player wanted. And that's not me, that was actually the other players. But yeah, I don't brew and there's no third party. But I did get a player who wanted to play a third party class. It was in the Bronze Dragon adventure. The class he wanted to play is Gunner. I have no idea what book it came from. I asked the player if it was a martial and he said yes. So I instantly allowed it without looking at it. Third-party marshals are either super tame or underpowered. I've never, ever seen a third-party marshal overthrow a caster. So I just instantly allow it without question. If it was a spellcaster, I would have to look at it. That's everything I wanted to talk about for now. I'm serious though, you're ready to run this game now. If your buddies just randomly come together and say, hey, let's play Deadlock or something, you can just ask them, hey, you want to play D&D instead right now? Just roll up a level 10 or 9 character and we're ready to go. I think most people would think you're super badass if you do that. And if you guys don't finish everything, you know, well, whatever, maybe next time. Maybe next week you guys meet up and finish everything. Or even the next day, I mean, everything's done. But yeah, you now know how to prep this book. It's insanely easy to read. This is the advanced guide. If you really want the ultimate guide, please like, comment, and subscribe. And I really hope I earned your support on Patreon. That way, I don't need to rely on ads. And then I can focus on ultimate guides for DMs. Nobody's making content like this. And I think they're super helpful. Also, another way to support us is follow the Kobold and Gator Dice. Following is for free, it's just press the button. Every little bit helps, guys. And one more thing, think about the Peru trip. That's an amazing vacation trip with a hell of an adventure. And you have a good idea what kind of caliber DM I am. So if you want to join me and play in Peru, let me know. I really want to DM in Peru. Hell yeah. Anyways, thank you for watching. Bye bye.